When I was editor of the Smart Guide magazine, it was essential for me to start to tell our stories for real. I found that Black history only kept us in a place of slavery. This is this revolving door of slavery. It didn't feel real to me. And so I wanted to use this opportunity to introduce the world to who we really are, thinking that you'd like us better, okay? When I started to explore the kings and queens and was putting together the timeline and wanted to share more of a story, I had advisors with me that were part of the magazine who said, no, you can't do that. I was so happy. I was like, we're going to tell the story about the kings and the queens and where we come from. Mind you, these are like people from the African diaspora, okay? Who I'm talking to. And the answer is, no, you can't do that. I was like, why not? White people. I was like, what does white people have to do with us telling our story of us being kings and queens? Oh, they don't want that. They didn't want to hear that. Why I do independent work, you see, is because when I did work with businesses, corporations, or entities, put it this way, as a writer, I was not allowed to write the full truth. The truth had to be watered down. And it had to be watered down because white people. I wasn't allowed to speak about what was happening historically and why we're being led down this path. I remember I wrote an article called Time for Love Again. It was an article about Negro women melanated women to start to actually show love to the brothers for real. Like, I would listen to a lot of the brothers who I'd meet randomly, and they shared a lot of intimate details and confessed and said, you know what, I like you as a sister, because most women, if I talk to them in terms of, they call it holler, you know, if I reach out or holler at a woman that I see who's a melanated woman, sister, she'll bash me, she will insult me, she'll put me down, but you didn't do that. I respect you for that. And so they would talk to me on a one-ways, and I started to feel kind of honored by this. And so whenever I was out on the road, if one of these Negroes tried to pick me up, instead of being like this, like, Gwe! Or, you know, whatever, women, you're not getting that from me. You know, it was more like, I appreciate your compliment, respect, brother, and then found a way to be a sister to him. I realized that our biggest role when I was young was to be a sister to the brothers, like the community of sisters to the community of brothers. Don't get me wrong, I used to get hot-headed as well with some of them, like when it came to work. Like if I went out to events, let's just say networking events, business events, not community, like not out in the community in terms of like, if I'm going from here to the store and I meet someone, it's different how I treat this person versus a person who I've met that I'm like, okay, I'll give you my number. And if I'm talking to you on the phone and you're sounding pushy, desperate, or non-attentive, I can't explain it. Or like you're going to get in the way, I would be rude to you. Yeah, I would literally just be like, honestly, I'm a businesswoman, I'm professional. If I'm talking to you, I don't want to hear BS in my ears. And so I was a hothead like that. I used to tell something to some men that only I heard Nicki Minaj say in her songs. Okay. So when I realized me being successful in business and being boss was getting to my head, because now I was being like shrewd. You know, I can't say I was being shrewd. I just felt like the men were just not grown enough. And for some of us women who tend to be a little bit more dominating and strong and all of that, it can get in the way. So my favorite saying to these guys used to be, look, don't call me, okay? I'll call you. Why? Because, well, when you're writing and you're doing research, or when you're in media marketing or any business and someone's calling you to tell foolishness, it wasn't happy. Guys knew I was that girl. I was that lady on the scene that I would not hesitate to tell you, don't call me, okay? I'll call you. So I did enjoy on those random times being like the sister to the random guys that I meet. So I wrote this article called Time for Love Again, and it was a powerful piece. It was about the white and Black relationship and what happened through slavery and how interracial relationships, what they were like. And my boss at the time loved the piece. Actually, they loved my work. Yeah. And so they loved my work, but I used to always get corrected sometimes because it was too real and honest. So in writing Time for Love Again, and this whole article about loving our brothers and being there for them from a sister community level, I talked about some Black and white dynamic relationships that really, if they'd let me write that article, I don't think we would have been here today. And I say let because I didn't have a web, I wasn't doing independent at that time. And they were very much for, you know what, if you're going to be, they saw me being independent as a conflict of interest to their business. So it was either you work for us and do what you want to do for yourself with us, kind of thing. So it turned out to be, and that's something that we can end up doing, is end up becoming our own enemies sometimes, which is not a good thing. But I valued the teachings, and these are my, you know, I love these people. I get why they did what they did. I'm not speaking in terms of like bad mouthing. I'm just sharing with you how much of an effect of mental conditioning that we were in, because we can't speak our truths because of white people. Don't believe me? Look what they're doing in the world right now. Let me tell you, when stepping away from that job to be independent, feeling like there was a freedom of expression, to find now that these countries, including ours, are silencing us, which that will be another topic of discussion, okay? These new bills that are upcoming for silencing people, okay? These are white people doing it. No disrespect, I'm just saying. When I was a writer and wanted to write about this stuff, I couldn't. Why? Again, white people. So they put the muzzle on us. First, they put the muzzle on the men, okay? So that the women could get their rights. Then they put the muzzles on like those of us that could speak, that weren't about this, that their thing. And now they're putting a muzzle on the rest of the world, all right? I didn't like when it happened years ago. I don't like it happening now. I don't know how you feel about this, so please share your comments on how you feel about being muzzled. So yes, when I worked for them, and this is one of the reasons I started the Reset community as well. I think that white people need to wake up and start being educated and stop running away from whatever they're running away from. They need to stop throwing people under the bus out of their own fears and insecurities. And I feel like the people who are assisting them from all the other cultures need to also wake up, right? Because this is not just a white person's doing. This has influence and support from other nations and cultures, including those that are Jamaican. All right, and this is what's scary and alarming for me, because how do you get social justice rights when white people know that they can go to a melanated person in the back and pay them some money to do some harm to people, right? How do you expect us to get real social help when he could go to a melanated man knowing that he wants a status, give him a job title, and that's the end of any further advancements? Like, how do we feel good about this? It's not absolutely possible. So this is this edition of the Reset News. We've gotten some updates. I would love to hear what your thoughts are about all of this. I shared with you what one of our next topics is going to be, is on this privacy bill coming out of Canada and the privacy bill around the world. We are also going to be touching on the cult and the church. And we're about to get into the meat of what the Reset community is all about. If you have not registered yet as a member, please do. It is free. If you'd like to share what your business is, when you become a member, you can enlist your business. We will be expanding on how to connect those that sign up as business professionals and how to get you involved in the mentorship program so that we can start to uplift those in the community who want to grow, who want to break free from the stigma that's being placed on them. And I feel that there's lots of people out there who have lots to give and share. www.letsresetnow.ca